The harsh, pale light of Klyon Station's artificial sun glared down on Alina Walker's exhausted face. She hadn't slept in 3 days, not since the Xarathi took Sam. Alina was only human, but her insomnia had turned into a strange blessing, driving her past the point of reason and into something primal. The Xarathi, towering insectoids with chitinous armor and razor-sharp mandibles, had underestimated her. They thought her fragile, like most humans, bound to the limits of biology and fear. They were wrong. Alina's sleepless state had started long before Sam's abduction. Years of work on long-haul freighters, hyperspace jumps, and late-night maintenance had rewired her body. Doctors called it adapted insomnia, but she called it survival. It made her sharper, quicker, and now relentless. When the Xarathi had stormed the station, claiming they needed worthy specimens for their experiments, Sam had tried to protect her. He'd been brave, but hopelessly outmatched. They dragged him away, and Alina could do nothing but seethe. Now, in the depths of Klyon Station's abandoned cargo bays, she prepared to do what no one else dared: take on the Xarathi alone. The station's central AI, nicknamed Iris, flickered into view on a nearby console as Alina modified her stun baton into something far more lethal. "Alina," Iris began, her voice calm but tinged with concern, "I calculate a 92% probability of failure if you proceed with your plan. The Xarathi possess advanced weaponry, and—" "Don't care," Alina snapped, her voice hoarse from dehydration. "Do you know where they took him?" Iris hesitated, then displayed a schematic of the station. "Sector 12B. But—" "Then guide me," Alina interrupted, strapping on a makeshift exosuit she'd scavenged from the repair bay. It amplified her strength enough to give her a fighting chance against the insectoids. As she moved through the station's shadowy corridors, she replayed Sam's voice in her mind. "You're the strongest person I know, Alina. Don't ever forget that." Sector 12B was a hive of Xarathi activity. Glowing pods lined the walls, each one pulsating with an ominous green light. Inside, Alina glimpsed other captives, humans, Valerans, and even a few Elkarans, all suspended in some kind of stasis. And there was Sam. His pod stood at the center of the chamber, guarded by 3 Xarathi sentinels. Alina didn't wait. She activated her suit's cloaking field, moving like a wraith between the shadows. The Xarathi's clicking language filled the air, but they never saw her coming. The first sentinel fell silently, its head crushed by the enhanced strength of her exosuit. The second managed to screech before Alina drove her electrified blade into its thorax. The third lunged, but she dodged with inhuman speed, her sleepless state honing her reflexes to a razor's edge. Finally, the room was silent save for the hum of the pods. Alina approached Sam's pod and began overriding its controls. Iris's voice chimed in her earpiece. "Alina, Xarathi reinforcements are en route. You have less than 5 minutes." "I know," she muttered, sweat dripping down her face. The pod hissed open, and Sam collapsed into her arms, disoriented but alive. "You came for me," he whispered, his voice weak. "Always," she replied, a rare smile breaking through her exhaustion. But their moment was short-lived. The reinforcements arrived. Dozens of Xarathi warriors swarmed into the chamber, their mandibles clacking in unison. Alina stood, her body trembling from exhaustion, but her mind sharper than ever. "Iris," she said, her voice steady, "initiate the override." The chamber lights flickered, and a deep hum resonated through the station. Iris had tapped into the station's power core, overloading every system in Sector 12B. Alina had planned for this, a last resort she hoped she wouldn't need. The Xarathi screeched as the chamber began to collapse around them. Alina grabbed Sam, activating the suit's emergency thrusters to propel them out of the sector as explosions erupted behind them. They barely made it to the docking bay before the entire sector detonated, taking the Xarathi and their experiments with it. Later, aboard a rescue freighter, Sam held Alina's hand as she finally allowed herself to rest. "You didn't have to do all that," he said softly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Yes, I did," she murmured, her eyelids heavy. "They took you. They needed to see what happens when they mess with a sleepless human." And for the first time in days, Alina closed her eyes and slept, knowing Sam was safe and the Xarathi had learned a lesson they wouldn't soon forget.